Good day, everyone. I'm Greg Funderburg, and I'm so excited to kick off this brand new series, Let It Burn, sponsored by Rise Chattanooga. And today, we're bringing this segment to you from 618, a beautiful restaurant in downtown Chattanooga. And today, we're going to kick this series off with the amazing Donna Elle from Chattanooga Tourism Company, and she's also a media personality. So let's get things started.
Hello, my name is Curtis Green, along with my business partner Darian Scott, are the owners of 618 Restaurant and Lounge. We're a proud sponsor of Let It Burn. We're located at 618 Georgia Avenue, where we offer soul food with a modern twist. We're open Tuesday through Sunday, and also you can follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you.
I am so excited to be talking to Donna Elle today. And so, Donna, when you think about cooking, when do you remember getting in the kitchen?
Oh man, so I was raised with my mother and my grandmother. And I remember going out in the apple tree, going in the fresh garden, and I remember my grandmother bringing those things back into our kitchen and saying, help me with this. And I was probably around 7. I was eating it all, but eventually I was like, well, I want to fix this myself, right? And so my grandmother was the one who initially showed me how to make homemade biscuits and red-eye gravy and macaroni and cheese and things like that. And so that's why I love to be in the kitchen.
When you think about being in the kitchen with your grandmother, what are some of those memories you have?
My grandmother was my everything, but being in the kitchen with her, it said foundation and it said family. You know, my mother often tells me even now that family is nourishment. And to be around her in those moments that sometimes we might take for granted, you know, I just loved spending time with her. And those were the memories that I have.
You know, when you're in the kitchen with your grandmother, because I remember being in Alabama with my grandmother, you know, grandmothers don't measure.
No.
They just say a pinch here,
Right.
a little something here.
Right.
How did your grandmother teach you about measurements?
You know what, when people ask me, you said it in a nice way, a tinch here and a tinch there. When people ask me about my recipes, my homemade carrot cake, my homemade macaroni and cheese, when I fry chicken, I'm never giving you a tinch of anything or a teaspoon, I'm giving you a tainch. You get a tainch of this and a tainch of that. And still to this day, I can write down my recipe. It's pretty hard. It's not because it's such a family secret. It's just, it's hard for me to really measure those things because I've been doing it so long and I just know it's trial and error in the grandmama's house, right? And that's what I loved about, you know, it was whatever she put in. I mean, I remember making a homemade apple pie with her and she was like, you know, take it out the stove, rub a little bit more butter and put it back in there, just a little bit more butter. And I'm like, what is more butter? Is more butter a teaspoon or a tablespoon? But it's trial and error. And those are the things, you know, they were cooking consistently all the time. We're eating out a lot more now. So practice made perfect for her. And so she knew, based on how much butter she gave, determined how it was going to taste this time or the next time.
When you think about your grandmother and what she taught you and the values, when you look back on that time of your life, when you're in the kitchen yourself, do you ever feel her spirit with you?
Oh man, I feel my grandmother's spirit. My mom is here and I feel her spirit, my aunt's spirit. You know, my recipe came from my aunt Deborah. And that same aunt is the reason why I started my weight loss and my fitness journey because she ended up passing from colon cancer. But she was making the macaroni and cheese and I was like, I want to make it, Deborah, I want to make macaroni and cheese like you. And she was the one who brought me in the kitchen. And my family, you know, my aunts Daphne, Deborah, my mom, my grandmother's name was Mama Dear. And so when Mama Dear finally lets you be the grandbaby that brings the macaroni and cheese to the function, you have done something. And so they passed it on to me and I was just super excited because I had that opportunity. So, you know, it's just a great feeling thinking about those memories. I still remember my grandmama.
When you talk about, you know, getting to bring the macaroni and cheese, that's the famous dish for many families.
Yes.
When they finally let you bring it for Thanksgiving, special functions, what was that feeling like?
You know, the first feeling, can I be really honest with you?
Sure.
I messed it up.
You messed it up.
I will never forget.
Did they talk about you?
Man, my cousin Paula said, something missing in this. You did something wrong. And I'm like, did you have to call me out in front of everybody? The only thing you brought were paper plates and cups. Your gift that you brought to the family was 99 cents. My gift was $35.99 because you put about 76 cheeses in it, right? And so I forgot to put you'll see me talk about it, you know, I love putting my sharp cheese inside of my macaroni and cheese. And a lot of people aren't sharp cheese eaters. And so it balanced that out. And so now I know never to put, because of my cousin Paula, never to put that sharp cheese on the top because everybody, ooh, this is bitter. And so that's what I said, practice made perfect. So that next Thanksgiving I came around, you know, I don't bring a little dish. Macaroni and cheese in our community is the pillar of the meal. If you can have a turkey, you can have the dressing, you can have all your green beans and the sides, but if you don't have the macaroni and cheese at Christmas and at Thanksgiving and it goes wrong, you have ruined the entire experience.
And when you talk about that, especially in our culture, when you think about making the macaroni and cheese, it's not mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's not whatever and cheese, it's macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese.
How do you make your macaroni and cheese? What's the ingredients we need to get?
From scratch.
Okay.
From scratch. So one of the things that I love is that, you know, some people say to egg macaroni and cheese or to not egg macaroni and cheese, that is the question. I'm old school. I believe in a good old egg in my macaroni and cheese. So when it comes to my ingredients, I make sure I have a couple of tinctures of salt. And so for those that don't know what a taint is, it may be probably around 2 teaspoons of salt. And it depends on how much you're making, right? And are you doing a family of 4? Are you doing the whole Thanksgiving meal? I also make sure that I have regular noodles. Can't do macaroni and cheese without the noodles. But then I have special cheeses. They don't have the government cheese like we used to back in the day, I'm be honest. So Velveeta is my thing. So I use Velveeta. I use sharp, I use mozzarella cheese and mild cheese in the inside of it.
Okay. Do you grate your cheese?
So I used to, but times are fast and furious now. Sister has every kind of business endeavor now, so I don't grate it. But I do miss the days when I did grate it because I think the cheese was a lot different then, I'm gonna be honest. But I don't. I go ahead and get it already grated, right? And so what I do is I scramble my egg and I do evaporated milk.
Okay.
I whisk it, I put that salt right in there, and then my noodles are boiled. But the base of the pan is not Pam. The base of the pan is actually real butter or margarine. So that's what's gonna keep it from not sticking in that pan.
And I have to ask you, when you think about your noodles, what kind of noodles?
I do regular macaroni noodles. I don't like those big fat noodles. Don't do that. I like the smaller ones because the biggest key to macaroni and cheese, nobody says the noodles. What is it? It's the cheese.
It's the cheese.
It's the cheese. So for me, I'm whisking all of that, and I'm actually pouring those hot noodles into that pan that's already coated with that, either your margarine or your real butter. And then I go ahead and I pour in my evaporated milk and my egg mix. After that, I slice a little bit of that butter throughout of it, and I use a tanch. A tanch of flour. You can do regular flour or self-rising flour, but just a little bit because I know the egg is gonna hold it together, but I don't know why my grandmama told me just a little bit of flour as well, right? And then my noodles are still warm. So I go ahead and I start slicing off that Velveeta, a lot of it. Now it depends on the size. Is it a family of 4? Or are you making a big concoction, you know, for, Thanksgiving? And I just start slicing it, and then I start, blending it together, stirring it with either a fork or just more of a light spoon and just making it more like a whisk. And then it can be really dry that way. So that's where a lot of people mess up. It can be either, this is what really agitates me about some people's macaroni and cheese. The top layer of cheese is delicious, but when you get in the inside, it tastes just like bland. So you take a little bit of probably 2% milk because you don't want it to be dry, but you still want those noodles to be warm. But that's when you add in the goodness. So you got your sharp cheese because your sharp cheese is going to balance with that, with your Velveeta. Then you have your mild cheese, and then you also go into a little mozzarella. And people are like, why mozzarella on the inside? It doesn't really have a taste, because when you're serving that bad boy and you string it up, that mozzarella is really gonna show, you know, kind of like when you see a pizza string, because it's more, I'm getting into it, it's more about like the visuals of it all. People eat with their eyes, right? And so you go in, you mix everything up. You have your sauce, your egg concoction, you have your different cheeses that are going in. All of them are melted. And again, you want to have enough milk in there where it's not dry, because it's going to cook slow. The noodles are already cooked, but you also have to cook that egg and that milk as it's going. And then at the top layer, because I learned from my cousin Paula, you have to put that mild cheese all across it. And just for optics, I like to add a little pepper at the top. Now, I want plenty of cheese at the top, because when it melts, presentation is everything.
It is.
I put it in the stove, but I cover it. This is where a lot of people, they mess up with their macaroni and cheese. I cover it with aluminum foil, because the inside has to bubble and boil while it's cooking. And then when you take off, you know, after you've cooked it probably around 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the size of it, you open it up, and then some of that cheese on the top is gonna be melted. You're gonna add a little bit more cheese. You're gonna take off that aluminum foil, and then you're gonna let it cook probably about 10, 15 more minutes. It's gonna crisp up, and you're gonna let it sit and stand for about 10 minutes before serving. And there you go.
You know, when you think about, you know, when it comes out, you have a son, and seeing your son, other family members eating your food that you've worked so hard to make, what is it like for you to see family members, friends enjoying the food you prepared?
Now, this is where I get really emotional, because a lot of people don't know, you know, the reason why I'm on here today is because somebody said, Donna, I didn't know you cooked. I love cooking because I love bringing people together to enjoy. I bake carrot cakes, I do, you know, full Sunday meals, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, sliced tomatoes, you know. I'm doing those things from scratch. And it's because I don't like to sit and eat alone. I like to share those experiences with people. And to see with my nephew, Donna, can I have some more macaroni and cheese? And my son is like, Mom, I didn't know you were making fake macaroni and cheese. And my cousin's calling me my nickname. It's not Donna Elle, they got another nickname.
What's that name?
I ain't gonna tell, I will never, look, I will never tell that nickname. Oh, this macaroni and cheese tastes just as good as this. And you know what I loved, and I was honored. So we're here at 618 Restaurant, right? Very particular about macaroni and cheese. And when I tasted theirs was amazing. And I also want to say my cousin Nate came to visit, and he said, woo, 618 got something on your macaroni and cheese. And so that was such a compliment, because they know what I put into my macaroni and cheese. Like when I make it with the intent of spending time with family. I make it with the intent of having conversations. I make it with the intent of, as my mom said, nourishing the soul of each other and having those conversations. I'm not just making macaroni and cheese and dropping it off to people. Some people are good at that. I used to make carrot cakes. I used to do, like, when I was in radio full time, 30 carrot cakes, and I sold them during the holiday season. But when I started out, I used to give them away and go by people's houses and spend time with them and talk about them. And then that ended because it became more of a job. I'm just fixing cakes and leaving. I need it. We need, people need, we need community. We need time to spend time with each other. We need that family nourishment. And even though we may not be blood brother and sister, you know, we're brother and sister. And just having those conversations around our meals, those things have changed a lot, because digitally we're looking at our phones.
We are.
And so how can we bring that back during the holidays and on Sundays and in the evenings when kids aren't just eating chicken nuggets on the way home? So I cook with the intent of bringing family together. When my son comes home,
You throw down.
You know, he may not do the macaroni and cheese, but I learned how to, he's not a pork eater. So I was like, oh, what can I serve? But fixing the salmon and the baked chicken and doing all those things, because I want him to get that good meal, because I know he might be out eating, you know, eating out a lot. And those things are important to me as a woman. I love doing that. You know, and a lot of people don't know that side of me.
When you talk about family and you talk about eating with your family, you know, that is something that is a big part of our culture. But more importantly, you have gone through your own journey when it comes to your fitness and health. How have you continued that journey with your family, but also focusing on you and losing over 100 pounds?
Yeah, that is a really good question, Greg, because people are like, you cook all this food, but you've lost this weight. I can't cook it consistently, right? Because I know, some of those things, some of those meals, I had to change the way I was cooking them. So whereas, years ago, it was like fat neck that you put in your greens and things like that. Now it's like a turkey neck. It's not like it used to be. So I have to be mindful. But I also believe in portion control. I always say it's moderation, not elimination. I gotta have my mac and cheese. But whereas I used to probably, when I was younger, that was something people were eating every day or every other day. And now it's something that I probably eat maybe every 4 months or so. Or if I go out and get it, I'm eating it at a 618 where I have a small portion and then I'm out versus, it's more mac and cheese in there, I need to get it. But I have changed the way I eat it and how often I eat it. And also I've added new meals to my diet so I can continue to go.
So when you look back at yourself 100 pounds ago, what would the Donna today tell that Donna?
Ooh, that's a good question because I ask people that question a lot on my shows. The Donna today would tell that Donna to cherish the moments that you have with family. Cherish the moment and the time that you have with yourself. Appreciate the time and the process of making these amazing ingredients and these amazing recipes and be proud of, regardless of what size you are, just appreciate that time. I think I was so worried about who I was for everybody else, but I miss Mama Dear. I miss Daphne, I miss Deborah. I miss the dynamic of family coming together. But if I just would have appreciated and valued that time, that would be something I would say to me then. Nothing different, nothing different.
What do you think Mama Dear would say about the Donna today?
You trying to be, that's a really good question and I hate to get emotional with that, but I will because my number one mentor in my life is my mother. People hear me talk about that all the time. And my mama are close, right? My grandmother made me feel beautiful, even when I didn't feel beautiful. And so if she saw me today, the labor that she had to experience and how she's passed things along to me, and I'm still cooking her recipes, her homemade cornbread and her fried green tomatoes, she would be so proud of me. And I know that for a fact.
Wow. Donna, it's time to dig in.
Let's eat.
I know Mama Dear is going to be proud of this macaroni and cheese
Well, this is
today.
Aunt Deborah's macaroni and cheese, so the whole family better be proud of this.
They better be proud of this one.
I hope you like it.
I will love it. And we're back from the kitchen with Donna Elle, and we have the amazing Curtis Green from 618. And Donna, we're going to taste your family recipe.
Yes. A taint of this and a taint of that.
A taint of this, a taint of that.
I'm kind of scared now because I'm like, okay, here we go.
So Curtis, what are your thoughts about the macaroni and cheese?
Man, right now it looks delicious. We do currently sell macaroni and cheese, so it's going to be interesting. So.
Yes.
And speaking of 618, Donna said, her cousin said, your mac and cheese or macaroni and cheese here at 618 will give her macaroni and cheese a run for the money.
Oh,
right.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Right.
There you go.
Greg, you up next.
There we go.
All right. I'll make sure I'm giving you enough noodles
That's
and cheese
good.
in it.
That's
You
good.
good? You good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, pass that one down. You grab that fork for me. Some people like the edge, some people like the center, so.
I love cheese. So.
All right,
let's go.
check it out. Tell me what you.
Definitely.
I don't cook for everybody, so. He was surprised. Did you have to be surprised?
No, this tastes like my mom's macaroni and cheese back in Alabama. You know, Marie Brown, her mom taught her how to cook.
Yeah. Ah, okay,
right.
that's a compliment.
Come on, Donna Elle.
Wow.
Are you surprised?
I'm not. So I'll give you a little bit about history about me. So I'm not a macaroni and cheese person.
Okay,
This is probably
okay.
the first time I've had macaroni and cheese in over 10 years.
Oh, okay. So do you
With
like
that being
it?
said, this is so delicious.
Thank you.
This is great.
There you go.
I love
All
it.
right.
I love it, definitely.
It tastes good. Shay Morrow from Rise Chattanooga. Come on in here.
Look, I got you a plate already. You ready? Did you bring your own plate? There you go.
Donna, this is absolutely amazing. And again,
Yeah.
we're going to put the recipe on your Rise's website as well. And anything else you want to say about community that you're doing in the community with your organizations?
I mean, I work for Chattanooga Tourism. I want to make sure that people come visit this city and experience our culture, heritage, and arts assets, from restaurants downtown, a culinary, to so many opportunities with our arts partners, and just making sure that you experience the arts while you're here in Chattanooga.
Sounds good. Donna, thank you
Live
so
music
much.
and more.
Live
Thank you.
music and more. Donna has been amazing today. Look at Curtis Green, 10 years.
I really
bringing
want
it
to
to
know
your
why
Curtis.
he hadn't had macaroni in 10 years, but hey, we'll talk about that another
We'll talk
time.
about that another time. Again, thanks to our friends at 618 for letting us be here today for another edition of Let It Burn.